Wave to the camera, right in front of you. And we got Andrew and James back there. All right, cool. How you guys doing? My name is Evan. I'll be your pilot today. How you gonna say Westfall? I got the whole Westfall family. That's a real kind of a Game of Thrones kind of a name, huh? You guys been to Hawaii before? No. First time? All right. Welcome to the middle of the ocean here. Go from the middle of the country to the middle of the ocean. Oh, you moved to Texas, right? Talk about Brexit, man. Hold on, Andy, can you hear me? All right, cool. All right, guys, my name is Evan. I will be your pilot today. A couple things I need to cover before we get going here. First of all, hope you guys aren't camera shy. Everybody wave to the camera. That's the before shot, right? So, I am recording this tour on video, so if you do want the video when we get back, you can talk to Bryce or whoever's on the ground when we get back, okay? I do have a camera on the nose, so it'll show you wherever we go. And, you know, during the course of the flight, just always remember that I am always having two conversations, so unfortunately not with myself, so that's a good thing. It's getting late afternoon, but the medication's still working, don't worry. I'm only kidding. Some days those tower controllers can get a little grumpy, alright, so not enough coffee in the morning, so I'll let you hear the radios as you depart the airport, but once we get to Honolulu Harbor, I'll shut it off so you don't have to deal with that. Alright, other than that, sit back, relax, enjoy the ride.
Take off, sir. 4 mile final for the crossing runway.
Alright, let's take off 8 right,
Okay, let's get going.
Flight 373 on sir, runway 8 right, line up and wait, traffic landing, runway 4 right.
8 right, line up and wait, Hawaiian.
Boca 105, contact Park, okay.
Contact letter Boca 105.
Here we go.
Point 336, contact Park, okay.
Hey there, 133.
Point 373, runway direct clear for takeoff and 04011.
8 right, clear for takeoff, point 370.
Go 4, Honolulu Tower, runway 8 right, line up and wait.
8 right, line up and wait, Echo 444.
Tower, Mechanical 11, South Branford, runway 6 departure.
Mechanical 11, Honolulu Tower, depart South Branford, service main. Clear of all runways, 105, 012.
Mechanical 11, on the go, clear of all runways.
Boca 444, traffic depart downfield, Boeing 77 will diverge off your right side. Delay your turn until the departure end, 104,012, runway 8 right, clear for takeoff.
8 right, clear for takeoff with delay or turn at the end, Echo 444.
Empire 616 on there, runway 8 right, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, runway 8 right, Empire 616.
Tower, Mechanical 11 has boat traffic on 8 right, maintain a visual.
Mechanical 11, Caution, Lake Evans.
Caution, Lake Evans. Mechanic Island.
Alright guys, thanks again for coming with me. I'm going to turn the radios off for you so you don't have to deal with that. Now, coming up on our left side here, we've got Honolulu Harbor. Honolulu Harbor is the main port for the island of Oahu and essentially the entire state of Hawaii. On the far side of the harbor there are tall buildings, that is our downtown and business district. But just in front of downtown you see the green roofs over there. Now just in the middle there, that is Aloha Tower with a clock on it. Aloha Tower built in 1926, still a working control tower for the harbor, but once upon a time the tallest building in all of Honolulu. Alright guys, if this is your first trip to Hawaii, a lot of people are always amazed at how clear the Pacific water is out here. Down below us, a nice light blue color, but within only a couple hundred yards, the water turns very deep blue. That's because it's a volcanic island. The slope of the island continues on down to the bottom of the ocean. The shelf drops off very quickly, causing the water to turn very deep blue. Now, of course, straight ahead of us is the famous Diamond Head crater. Now, Diamond Head mistakenly called that by the British sailors when they discovered it because of all the volcanic crystals they saw on the slopes. But Diamond Head's true Hawaiian name is called Le'ahi, and loosely translated, Le'ahi means brow of the tuna. So if you look at the shape of the mountain, it loosely resembles the dorsal pattern of the tuna. If you look off to the left here, you see the Ala Wai Yacht Harbor, which is one of the host sites for the biannual Trans-Pacific Yacht Race. It starts in Los Angeles, ends here. Actually finished up last week. More famously known, though, as the launching point of the USS Minnow over 55 years ago. If you don't recall that, this is a little Gilligan's Island thing. Now, the pink building you see coming up on our left here, that is the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. Built in 1926. Second oldest building in Waikiki, but if you look further down the shoreline, the short white building with the flag on it, that is the Moana Hotel. Built in 1901, makes it the oldest building in Waikiki. Now, the banyan tree you see in front of it there was planted in 1904. Makes for a very nice place to go have a drink in the afternoon, but you got to be careful because the birds like to come home to roost, so you might end up a little surprised in your drink. Bring it around, make sure Andy gets a good look at it. One of the things I always like to do here is going right around Diamond Head Crater. On the summit here at Diamond Head, about 760 feet high. As you go around Diamond Head, you can see quite a few people standing on the top there. Most people make the hike in the morning when it's nice and cool. Sometimes they're doing it in the late afternoon when the sun's going down. Makes a very pretty vista at Waikiki in the foreground. As you come around Diamond Head, we're going to get a little bit of an afternoon bump here. Just a little bit of a greeting from Diamond Head. But as you come around Diamond Head, the coastline you see just in front of us, this is what we call the Gold Coast of Oahu, starting with this peninsula up ahead called Black Point. On the near side of Black Point, you're going to see an estate with a big swimming pool. At a state called Shangri-La, built in 1935, once owned by the late Doris Duke. You might know the Duke name from Duke University, Duke Tobacco, Duke Energy. But these are some of the most expensive properties in the country. Average shoreline home here, anywhere between $50 and $60 million. So welcome to Hawaii, guys. You got that in your truck book, right? Probably buy a lot of land in Texas. If you look up ahead there, the white building coming into view, that is the Kahala Hotel, one of the island's few five-star hotels. Right behind it is the privately owned Waialae Country Club, which is the site of the annual PGA Sony Open that plays every January. If you follow golf, Justin Thomas won the tournament here. Actually broke the course record because the winds were so calm that day. If you look up towards the mountains there, you see the two ridges with the homes up ahead. Now the second ridge is a private gated community called Hawaii Loa Ridge. Hawaii Loa Ridge homes average anywhere from $8 to $10 million, but believe it or not, some people feel so special. There's actually a gated community in the gated community way up at the top. Don't ask me what it costs to live up there though, I'm only the pilot. But movie stars like Bruce Willis, Jackie Chan, and Keanu Reeves all have homes in this area. How you guys doing back there? You doing alright? Alright. Now the community you see straight ahead of us off in the distance, there is a community called Hawaii Kai. Now, Hawaii Kai was built in the 60s by a man named Henry Kaiser. Mr. Kaiser made a lot of his money building ships during World War II, but he got the idea for Hawaii Kai from a trip he took to Venice. All the homes on the water and decided to bring the idea here. Mr. Kaiser also responsible for building the Open Hawaiian Village. Of course, in the 60s it was known as the Kaiser Hawaiian Village. I don't know if you guys ever remember a TV show called Dog the Bounty Hunter. I know they show it in Texas. I don't know if they showed it in the UK, but coming up on the right side here is another exclusive community called Port Lock. More expensive $10 to $15 million homes, but Dog lives over at the end over there. If you have a car, it's not hard to find this house because it's got a big old iron gate with his face on it. If you look way across the water on the horizon, you can just make out the island of Molokai. Molokai is about 30 miles away across the channel. Now the channel between the two islands is called the Kaiwi Channel, sometimes some of the roughest water in the world. That's due to the northeasterly trade winds that we get most of the year that come whipping between the two islands, create a big wind tunnel, and creates very rough water. So it's not unlike the English Channel, right? Well, the big crater you see just in front of us here called Koko Crater. As you can tell, there's a trail on the front of it that'll take you straight to the top. Most people make the hike in about 30 to 45 minutes, but the local fire department, of course, the firefighters are doing 21 minutes. You've got to be in pretty good shape to be a firefighter here. Just off to the right is one of the best places to go snorkeling in Hawaii, a place called Hanauma Bay. Hanauma Bay is actually an extinct volcanic crater. One side collapsed into the ocean, creating a natural bay here. But you can go swimming here every day except Tuesday, where they close the bay to let the reef recover from all the human activity. But once you get into the ocean, though, you get surrounded by hundreds of fish. Not to worry about the bumps here. Just a little greeting from Koko Crater coming up ahead. Oh, get the selfies done. Alright, making one big turn here. Make sure the boys get to see the Hanauma Bay here. That's off to the left there. We're going to head towards the ridge line up ahead. If you look off to the left, you notice how gently sloped the ridges are. Watch what happens as we cross over the main ridge line straight ahead of us. You're going to notice everything just drops off very suddenly, and that's because of the trade winds come blowing against the mountains, causing all erosion and the very steep cliffs. As we cross over the ridge line, everybody look off to the right. Just offshore, you're going to see Rabbit Island. Rabbit Island's actually a bird conservation area today, but once upon a time, there was a man who did raise rabbits here. But also, as you cross over the ridge, you're going to look down to the right on the shoreline. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of TV trivia. Right where you're going to see a rock wall on the shoreline. Now, right where the rock wall connects to the beach is going to be an estate we call the Robin Masters Estate. If you guys remember what show that's from. No, it's not Hawaii Five-0. You guys look little. Yeah. Magnum P.I. Yes. I know the kids don't know it, but you only heard of the show, never seen it, right? And you got the Robin Masters Estate just coming into view at the moment. Right where the rock wall meets the beach. Alright, now the town you see down below us here, that's the town of Waimanalo. Now, Waimanalo is primarily an agricultural town, but if you're in Waikiki and you go to one of the restaurants, better restaurants anyway, in town, sometimes when you order a salad, they offer you something called Nalo Greens, and this is the area where all of it is farmed. Now the airfield you see just in front of us there, called Bellows Air Base, and not so much an air base anymore, but the U.S. Marines like to use the beach area to practice landing. One little known fact about Bellows, though, was also a target of the Japanese during an attack in 1941. Now the two islands you see offshore to the right there are called the Mokulua Islands, or the Twin Islands. A lot of folks like to take their paddleboards and kayaks out there in the weekend and just hang out on the beach, but just across the water from the Mokuluas, there's a little pocket of homes called Lanikai, more expensive $10 to $12 million home. But right beyond Lanikai, just about to be obscured by that hill, but it'll come back into view, that'll be Lanikai Beach, sometimes rated the #1 beach in the world by Condé Nast travelers. By now you guys are already wondering, okay, all they did is show us where rich people live. You might be wondering where regular folks live. Down below you is a nice average middle-class neighborhood called Enchanted Lakes. That being said, a nice average middle-class home on this island still starts at $760,000. It's still not exactly pocket change. Got a big peninsula you see coming up on the right side there. That is called Marine Corps Base Hawaii. Being located in the middle of the Pacific, we're very lucky to be represented by all the branches of our military. And as we go around the island, we'll get to see the rest of the bases here. If you look off to the left, the low pass in the mountain you see there, that is called the Pali. If you do a little studying about Hawaiian history, you're going to find out a man named Kamehameha conquered and unified most of the Hawaiian Islands. And when his warriors came to the island of Oahu, they cornered the warriors from Oahu right up during that pass, and many of them jumped to their death rather than being captured. So we call it the site of the last great battle for the island of Oahu. Now the big bay you see coming up ahead of us, that is called Kaneohe Bay. The bay is a big marine conservation area. A lot of hammerhead sharks like to come in here to raise their young, but if you look just in the middle of the bay coming into view, that is called Coconut Island. Now there's a research facility there operated by the University of Hawaii. But you know the island better as Gilligan's Island, because that's the island they show you in the beginning of the show. Now, they did not film the show there though, they filmed it on the island of Kauai, at least for a couple of years before going back to California and filming in the studio. Now, if you look down to the left along the shoreline, you're going to see all these ponds lining the shore. All these ponds are actually fish ponds that were originally built by the ancient Hawaiians. And when they built the original rock wall, they put the rocks close to each other so that baby fish could swim through the cracks. They go inside and feed and eventually got too big and couldn't get back out. It's a very ingenious method of having your own self-sustaining food source. All the brown circles you see down below us here, this is all coral reef. Now most people imagine coral reef as long stretches of reef along the shoreline. But the bay here is so calm that the coral can attach itself very easily to the bottom of the bay and create all these beautiful circular patterns. Now of course the only way to see it is from the air like this. And you might see little brown dots moving along the coral, although the little brown dots would actually be sea turtles that come into the bay here to feed on the seaweed along the edges of the coral. Now keep in mind we're 1,700 feet up, so the turtle's going to be pretty small. And once they go back out into open ocean, they then become the favorite food of the tiger shark. Everybody wave to the camera again. That's the mid-flight. Everybody's still smiling at least. Now, the mountain range you see coming up on the left here is what we call the Ko'olau Mountain Range. Now the mountain range extends the entire length of the island. The island is 40 miles long by 30 miles wide. Now that's not a very big island, but keep in mind there's over 1 million people here. So if you've been here for a couple of days, you've had the pleasure of getting stuck in our traffic. Ironically, Honolulu recently rated third worst traffic in the country, right behind New York and LA. Dubious distinction, right? Come to Hawaii, enjoy the white sand beaches, get stuck in traffic. Take note of the shapes of the mountains coming up ahead of us, see if they don't start to look familiar. It might, because they're getting to the part of the island where they film a lot of movies and TV shows. Movies like Jurassic Park, 51st Dates, Tears of the Sun, The Rundown, King Kong, Pirates of the Caribbean, Hunger Games, and of course TV shows like Lost and Hawaii Five-0. At the base of the mountain to our right, there's a place called Kualoa Ranch where they got horseback riding and ATV riding if you like to do that kind of thing. But they're more famously known for the valley they own on the opposite side of the ridge. That's because that's where they filmed some of the scenes from the original Jurassic Park. In fact, 2015 Jurassic World was filmed in an area just in front of us here. You guys remember the first time you ever see dinosaurs in the original Jurassic Park? How they come running all over the rolling hills? Imagine them flying along like this, and as they cross over the ridge line, all of a sudden you see dinosaurs running all over the place. Where's the valley where they filmed those scenes? This is called Ka'ava Valley coming up ahead. As you cross over the ridge line up ahead, notice how pristine and untouched the valley is down below us. This is called triple canopy rainforest, some of the only kind of rainforest of its kind in the country. We are very protective of the land out here. Of course, as the saying goes, keep your country country. This is Kahana State Park. The stink over the ridge to the left is over 1 million people here. On the right, we have Kahana Bay. The next place we're going to take you, though, is a place called Sacred Falls, and Sacred Falls is the island's tallest waterfall. The only way you get to see it nowadays is from the air, and that's because it's stuck way back in a very narrow valley. About 18 years ago, you used to be able to hike into the valley to see the waterfall, but then there was a huge rock slide, and about 50 people got hurt. So the state decided to close the trail, and now the only way you get to see it is from the air. They get a little waterfall off to the left. That's Punaloo Falls. Actually, only has water about half of the year. That tells me it's raining pretty good up in the mountains. Well, the waterfall's tucked way back in the very narrow valley right past the ridge up ahead of us. I'll make a deal with you guys. As we cross over the ridge, you look to the left for the waterfall. I will look at the mountain. How's that? Deal? I'll be on the left at first, as you can tell, as you go across the valley, then I'll make a big turn, and then you get a good look at it. Everybody get your cameras ready right up in the back of the valley there. I'm going to start to see the top of the waterfall any moment now. There it is. And one big turn. Your turn, Andy. All right, everybody got a picture? Let's get away from the mountain here. I'm going to fly along the mountains now a little bit. Figure I've seen enough ocean for now. Show you just how rugged the interior of the island is. A lot of people do like to come to Hawaii to hike the trails, but you got to be a pretty good hiker, because every once in a while, somebody goes walking right off the edge of the cliff. And what happens, they go walking up the trail, you step into the brush thinking there's ground beneath it. Sometimes there isn't, and off they go. Now the town you see off to the right there, that is the town of Laie. Laie is home to the Polynesian Cultural Center, which is a slanted roof on the right side of town. If you get a chance to go there, though, they got these villages that represent the different cultures of the South Pacific. Laie is also home to the Brigham Young University of Hawaii and the oldest Mormon temple west of Salt Lake City. We're actually very lucky to be flying along the mountains like this today. Because much of the year, the clouds above us sit way below the ridge line. And actually, that's how we like it, because the clouds release their moisture in the form of light rain and light mist, and it takes about 20 years for all that moisture to seep into the ground and get into our aquifer and become our fresh drinking water. And with over 1 million people on the island, as you might imagine, becomes a very precious resource for us. Now, this is all conservation land, which does comprise about 20 to 25% of the island here. But a lot of people who are born and raised here never get to see the interior of the island like this. Well, the smaller town you see off to the right, that is the town of Kahuku. But if you look right beyond Kahuku, you're going to see a field there with all those rectangular ponds. All those are actually shrimp ponds. And if you get a chance, I highly recommend you rent a car for a day, drive around the island, you stop by the ponds there, and they got these shacks that they say you cook shrimp. Makes for a very good lunch. So you go over there, you buy the shrimp, and you drive on out to the North Shore and have yourself a nice picnic. As we cross over the ridge line, up the coastline coming up ahead of us, this is the famous North Shore of Oahu. Now, the North Shore is famous because of all the big surf we get every year. Anywhere between November and about April, lots of storms in the North Pacific create a lot of energy. All that energy travels through the ocean, and as it hits the shoreline, it lifts up and creates all the big 20 and 30-foot waves. Now, during the same period, though, a lot of humpback whales from Alaska come to Hawaii to raise their young. But the interesting thing about that is the entire time the whales are here, a mother whale never feeds, all it does is care for its calf. But after the 6 months is up, they make a 2,500-mile swim back to Alaska, and that's when the whales start to feed again. Now, some of the most famous surf spots in the world coming up ahead of us, you get Sunset Beach on the right. On the left will be the Bonsai Pipeline. But as you cross over the shoreline here, you're going to notice how pretty the beaches are out here. A lot of people like to come to the North Shore to walk down the beach, get their feet wet. Just be very careful, though, because the waves can take the sand out from under your feet and drag you out into the ocean. Just be aware, nature can be very unpredictable here. Not so much during the summertime, actually a very nice day to go to the beach, but during the wintertime, the waves break all the way across the beach, all the way up to the homes, and some of the homes actually get threatened by being washed into the ocean. Of course, the most famous of all the big surf spots coming up ahead of us is Waimea Bay off in the distance. But just in front of Waimea Bay, this little rocky area is a favorite place for people to go snorkeling during the summertime. Ironically, it's called Shark's Cove. As you go by, you probably see quite a few people swimming around in there. But if you look at the near corner at Waimea Bay, where the coconut trees are, that is the corner where the big waves crash. As you go by, take note of the bottom of the ocean. You're going to notice nothing but rocks and boulders. But keep in mind, it's only about 15 feet deep there, so imagine falling for a 20-foot wave. It's really not going to be a good day. I'll bring it on the right side. I'm trying to get a good look at Waimea Bay also. As you come down through the central valley of the island here, imagine once upon a time this entire central plain used to be covered in pineapple and sugarcane. Now basically all of Hawaii was controlled by plantations for over 100 years, but over time it got more and more expensive to raise those crops. So one at a time they slowly went out of business. But we do have one famous plantation remaining, though, just across the valley to the right in the distance. That is the Dole Pineapple Plantation. We also have some independent farming. And immediately to the right we get everything from corn, watermelons, bell peppers, bananas. The darker fields at a 2 o'clock position is actually a coffee farm, also owned by Dole. Let's get closer to the pineapple fields. You're going to notice they're all at different stages of the growth. Well, the only way to pick a pineapple is by hand, and that's because there's no machine made that can determine what a ripe pineapple looks or feels like. So the workers have to walk through individual rows to pick the pineapple, but if you ever saw a pineapple plant, it's very spiny, so they got to wear very thick clothing. But if you're working in the hot sun all day, it's very grueling work. Hey, Andy, you like a good steak? No? You're not a meat eater? How about you guys? Yeah? Alright. So we got pineapples up here, we got vegetables here, we got a little bit of cattle ranching right in front of us here. Now you're going to see our herds just coming up on the right side, just ahead. Now you guys heard of Kobe beef and Wagyu beef? That's some of the best meat in the world, right? But, you know, the way they raise those cows is very inhumane because they put them in these really tight pens their entire life so they can't move around. You know, no muscle tone, very soft meat. Good theory, but kind of inhumane. So this herd you see coming up ahead of us is actually part of an experiment being done by the University of Hawaii. Now what they're trying to do is take the scientific approach and do the same thing. Immobilize the cows but without the pens. So what they're trying to do is create a new species of cow that doesn't have any legs so they can't move around. It's really amazing genetic engineering, right? Notice some of them laying on the ground? Yeah, they call it ground beef. Alright, let's fly the helicopter. If from Texas you don't like steak, something's wrong. Alright, now the red building you see coming up ahead of us here, that is the Dole Visitor Center. As you go by, you're going to notice they got a big maze there that's going in the shape of a giant pineapple. It's supposed to be the largest maze of its kind in the world. But if you need another reason to go there, remember earlier I talked about the shrimp farms, so you can make a shrimp picnic on the North Shore. Well, come here and you got to get dessert too, so you come to the Dole Visitor Center, you got really, really good pineapple ice cream. And of course, nobody ever says no to ice cream, right? I'll back it over as I go by here. I got the pineapple base just off to the left there. Alright, time for a little bit of history. If you look off in the distance there, you can see Pearl Harbor coming into view on the horizon. Now imagine this, alright, it's 1941. You're a Japanese pilot. This is the same view those pilots had in their attack run going into Pearl Harbor. And the main force of the attack came straight down the center of the island here. Some came through the poly that I showed you earlier, and if you remember, the Americans were able to launch a few airplanes during the attack. So coming up on the right side here is Wheeler Army Airfield. This is the same airfield where those planes took off from. So imagine you're trying to launch your airplane, but at the same time you're getting shot and bombed. So very courageous for those guys to be doing that. Today, Wheeler's primarily a helicopter base. We've got everything from CH-47 Chinooks, H-60 Blackhawks, and a squadron of H-64 Apache attack helicopters. Now, of course, if you haven't been to Pearl Harbor yet, we've got the USS Missouri battleship and the Arizona Memorial there. And it's fortunate we have both structures there because they both represent the beginning and ending of World War II. Of course, Arizona was sent there, but the USS Missouri is the ship on which the Declaration of Surrender was signed by the Emperor of Japan. Now, if you look straight ahead of us here, just on the right side of the harbor, you see some ships coming into view. Well, those ships, that's actually all in mothballs waiting for the scrapyard. Every other year, the U.S. Navy holds what they call the Rim of the Pacific exercises, which is the largest military exercise in the world. Last year, those exercises involved 26 countries, including China. But every once in a while, the Navy will take one of those old ships, they'll empty it out and drag it out to sea, and use it for target practice. But once they sink the ship, then it ends up being an artificial reef. Alright, everybody, get ready to pop your ears. We're going to be dropping down about 1,000 feet. Just swallow, yawn, whatever works for you. Hold your nose. We're going to make our way to Ford Island here. I'm going to take you through the mothball fleet first. Of course, as we get closer to the Ford Island, you're going to see the Missouri battleship. And right next to the Missouri will be the Arizona Memorial. One of the views few people ever get to see is the actual battleship Arizona, just below the surface of the water. You're also going to see oil floating on the surface. That would be 75-year-old oil coming out of the ship. Symbolically speaking, the oil droplets represent the tears of the sailors, still entombed in the ship, over 1,100 sailors. And you see the Missouri battleship on the far side there. And right where that flag is, just to the left of it, that's where the Arizona Memorial is here. We're going to be making a big turn here at Ford Island. It'll be on the left at first, so everyone on the left side gets to see it. Then make a big turn afterward, and Andy can get a good look at afterwards. You got the Arizona Memorial coming up to the left here. Alright, Andy, your turn. Blowing down here. I got the occupied Navy base down below us with Hickam Air Force Base off to the right. Well, Hickam is one of the few air bases in the country that actually shares runways with a working commercial airport. And a big runway you see off in the distance there is called the Reef Runway. Was originally built as an alternate landing site for the space shuttle when they were flying.
Hawaiian 192 Honolulu Tower, runway E right, taxi via Alpha Romeo Bravo. Cross runway 8 left at Romeo Bravo.
Taxi 8 right via Alpha Romeo Bravo, hold short, 8 left Romeo Bravo, Hawaiian 192.
Hawaiian 192, cross runway 8 left at Romeo Bravo, hold short at runway 8 right.
Oh yeah, hold, clear cross, 8 left at Romeo Bravo, hold short, 8 right, Hawaiian 192.
Level 211 Honolulu Tower, cross runway 4 right at Foxtrot, 4 left, line of void, traffic departing runway 8 right.
Right 211, cross 4 right, line up void, 4 left, Foxtrot.
Ray Papa Alpha, turn right at Echo, contact ground.
Echo, contact ground, it's Papa.
Kanekai 11, cross runway 8 left towards the tower, cross the 4 south of Foxtrot, landing south of BHO risk.
Crossing 8 left toward the tower, 4 south of Foxtrot, south of my risk, Kanekai 11.
I'm ready, Delta Sierra, comment departure.
See the departure, 8 Delta Sierra.
There's something most people never get to do, is go flying right across active runways.
9144 heavy, contact departure.
To departure, 9144 heavy, goodbye.
Just like crossing the street, look left, look right, look up, look down, don't hit any airplanes.
Maui 1, flight runway heading until advised. Caution weight turbulence for heavy Boeing 767 that departed. Runway right, clear for takeoff.
Hey, fly runway heading until advised, 8 right, clear for takeoff, my 1.
Mechanical advance on board.
Mechanical 8 Honolulu Tower, proceed to prison hold.
Prison, mechanical 8.
Hawaiian 20 heavy, runway right, line up and wait.
Brad, line up and wait, Hawaiian 20 heavy.
Mechanical 8, cross runway 8 left towards the tower, cross the 4 south, Foxtrot, landing south of BHO risk. Number 9 Lima Bravo, Honolulu Tower, wind 03013. Maui 1, turn right heading 120.
Right turn 120, my 1. And Honolulu Tower, Mahalo 87 to pass over Punchbowl 2000 inbound.
Mahalo 87 Honolulu Tower, maintain 2000 till the downwind. Traffic holding position parallel runway, runway 4 right, clear to land.
Maintain 2000 till downwind, 4 right, clear to land, Mahalo 87.
Alright guys, appreciate you guys flying with me today. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Everybody okay? Alright, cool.
Hawaiian 20 heavy, wind 0.
Gets a little busy in the air, huh? You guys all do me a favor here. Just hop on out the TripAdvisor. Appreciate any kind words you got.